Welcome to your global news update for July 30th, 2025. From massive earthquakes to international crises, here are today's biggest stories. We begin tonight with breaking news from the far reaches of Russia. A devastating earthquake, registering a magnitude of 8.8 on the Richter scale, has struck the Kamchatka Peninsula. The sheer force of the quake has caused widespread destruction, leaving a trail of collapsed buildings, fractured roads, and utter devastation in its wake. Initial reports paint a grim picture, with emergency services struggling to reach remote areas affected by the seismic event. The earthquake's epicenter was located deep beneath the ocean floor, triggering a series of events that have now cascaded into a global emergency. The immediate aftermath saw the activation of tsunami warning systems across the Pacific Ocean, as authorities braced for the potential arrival of massive waves. The scale of the earthquake is truly immense, ranking among the most powerful seismic events recorded in recent history. Seismologists are closely monitoring aftershocks, which continue to rattle the region, further compounding the challenges faced by rescue teams and local communities. The long-term impact of this disaster is still unfolding, but it is clear that the road to recovery will be long and arduous. The international community has already begun mobilizing resources to provide assistance to the affected areas, offering support in the form of emergency supplies, medical personnel, and technical expertise. The coming days will be critical in assessing the full extent of the damage and providing aid to those who have lost their homes and livelihoods. The earthquake serves as a stark reminder of the power of nature and the importance of preparedness in the face of such events. As the earth trembled, the resulting tsunami sent shockwaves across the Pacific. Tsunami waves, reaching heights of up to 5 meters, have already crashed against the shores of Japan, causing significant damage to coastal infrastructure. Evacuations are now underway in a wide swath of territories, stretching from the Alaskan coastline to the tropical islands of Hawaii. Coastal communities are scrambling to reach higher ground, as sirens blare and emergency vehicles race against time to evacuate residents from vulnerable areas. The scenes unfolding are reminiscent of past tsunami disasters, with images of surging waves engulfing homes and businesses. The potential for further devastation remains high, as the tsunami continues to propagate across the ocean, threatening low-lying islands and coastal regions. Authorities are urging residents to heed evacuation orders and seek shelter in designated safe zones. The response to the tsunami threat has been swift and coordinated, with international agencies working together to monitor the waves and provide assistance to affected countries. The economic impact of the tsunami is expected to be substantial, with disruptions to shipping lanes, tourism, and fishing industries. The long-term consequences of the disaster will depend on the extent of the damage and the speed of recovery efforts. The tsunami serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of our world and the importance of international cooperation in the face of natural disasters. The focus now is on protecting lives and minimizing the damage caused by the surging waves. Turning to another crisis unfolding across the globe, a humanitarian disaster is deepening in Gaza. International aid agencies are issuing dire warnings about an unfolding famine, as the already precarious situation deteriorates rapidly. The ongoing conflict has severely disrupted food supplies, leaving millions of people on the brink of starvation. The destruction of infrastructure, including hospitals and schools, has further exacerbated the crisis, making it difficult to provide essential services to those in need. The lack of access to clean water and sanitation is also contributing to the spread of disease, compounding the suffering of the civilian population. The situation in Gaza is a complex and multifaceted one, with a long history of conflict and political instability. The current crisis is a result of a combination of factors, including the ongoing blockade, the destruction of agricultural land, and the disruption of trade routes. The international community has a responsibility to act urgently to address the humanitarian needs of the people of Gaza and to work towards a lasting solution to the conflict. The focus must be on providing immediate relief to those who are suffering, while also addressing the underlying causes of the crisis. The long-term recovery of Gaza will require a sustained commitment from the international community, as well as a genuine effort to address the political and economic challenges facing the region. Within Gaza, the most vulnerable members of society are bearing the brunt of the crisis. Children and pregnant women are especially at risk, facing malnutrition, disease, and the trauma of displacement. Aid access remains severely restricted, hindering efforts to deliver life-saving assistance to those who need it most. The challenges faced by aid workers on the ground are immense, as they navigate the complexities of the conflict and the logistical hurdles of delivering supplies in a war zone. The lack of security and the constant threat of violence make it difficult to reach those who are most in need. Despite these challenges, aid workers are working tirelessly to provide assistance to the people of Gaza, distributing food, water, and medical supplies. The international community must do more to support these efforts and to ensure that aid reaches those who need it most. The protection of civilians must be a priority, and all parties to the conflict must respect international humanitarian law. The long-term solution to the crisis in Gaza requires a political settlement that addresses the underlying causes of the conflict and ensures the safety and well-being of all civilians. The focus must be on creating a sustainable future for the people of Gaza, one where they can live in peace and security. Shifting our focus to the global economy, the International Monetary Fund has released its latest World Economic Outlook. The IMF has raised its global growth forecast to 3.0%, citing stronger than expected performance in some major economies. However, the IMF also warns of the potential negative impacts of U.S. tariffs on global trade. The ongoing trade tensions between the United States and other countries are creating uncertainty and disrupting supply chains, which could dampen economic growth in the long run. The IMF is urging countries to resolve their trade disputes through dialogue and cooperation, rather than resorting to protectionist measures. The global economy is facing a number of challenges, including rising debt levels, geopolitical risks, and the potential for a slowdown in China. The IMF is calling on countries to implement policies that promote sustainable and inclusive growth, while also addressing these challenges. The long-term outlook for the global economy remains uncertain, but the IMF is cautiously optimistic that growth can be sustained if countries work together to address the challenges they face. The focus must be on promoting international cooperation and creating a level playing field for all countries. The impact of trade wars is already being felt by companies around the world. Many companies are reporting weakened earnings due to the increased costs of tariffs and the disruption of supply chains. The trade wars are potentially shaving 0.7% off global growth, according to some estimates. This may not sound like much, but it translates to billions of dollars in lost economic output and potentially millions of jobs. Companies are being forced to make difficult decisions about where to locate their production facilities and how to manage their supply chains. Some companies are choosing to relocate their production to countries that are not subject to tariffs, while others are absorbing the costs of the tariffs and passing them on to consumers. The trade wars are creating uncertainty and making it difficult for companies to plan for the future. The long-term impact of the trade wars on the global economy is still uncertain, but it is clear that they are having a negative effect on business confidence and investment. The focus must be on resolving the trade disputes and creating a more stable and predictable trading environment. The global economy needs trade to function efficiently, and trade wars are a threat to global prosperity. In Rio de Janeiro, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, convened for their annual summit. This year's summit placed a strong emphasis on cooperation in the field of artificial intelligence, recognizing the transformative potential of this technology. The leaders of the BRICS nations also called for the establishment of UN governance frameworks to ensure the responsible development and deployment of AI. The BRICS nations are increasingly playing a significant role in the global economy and are seeking to shape the future of international governance. The summit in Rio de Janeiro was an opportunity for the BRICS nations to strengthen their cooperation and to address some of the key challenges facing the world today. The focus was on promoting sustainable development, fostering innovation, and strengthening multilateralism. The BRICS nations are committed to working together to create a more just and equitable world order. The summit in Rio de Janeiro was a success, and it demonstrated the growing importance of the BRICS nations in the global arena. The BRICS nations are a force for good in the world, and they are committed to working together to address the challenges facing humanity. Looking ahead, India is set to assume the BRICS presidency in 2026. India's focus during its presidency will be on digital development and South-South cooperation. India recognizes the importance of digital technologies for driving economic growth and improving the lives of its citizens. India is also committed to promoting South-South cooperation, which involves sharing knowledge and resources with other developing countries. India's presidency of the BRICS will be an opportunity to advance these priorities and to strengthen cooperation among the BRICS nations. India is a leading voice for the developing world, and it is committed to working with other countries to address the challenges facing humanity. The focus will be on promoting sustainable development, fostering innovation, and strengthening multilateralism. India's presidency of the BRICS will be a success, and it will contribute to a more just and equitable world order. The BRICS nations are a force for good in the world, and they are committed to working together to address the challenges facing humanity. That concludes our major breaking news update for tonight. Let's dive into some rapid-fire updates from around the globe, starting with a significant development in the European housing market. Spain is taking decisive action to address the growing housing crisis, particularly in popular tourist destinations like Barcelona and Madrid. The surge in short-term rentals through platforms like Airbnb has been blamed for driving up rental costs and reducing the availability of affordable housing for local residents. The government is now cracking down on Airbnb rentals in these cities, implementing stricter regulations and enforcement measures. This move aims to rebalance the housing market, prioritizing long-term residents and ensuring fair access to housing for everyone. The new regulations are expected to impact both property owners and tourists, potentially reshaping the landscape of short-term rentals in Spain's major cities. The crackdown reflects a growing trend among European cities to regulate the sharing economy and protect the interests of local communities. Moving across the world to Australia, we see a bold step being taken to safeguard the mental well-being of young people. In a move that's generating considerable debate, Australia has announced a ban on social media for individuals under the age of 16, unless they have explicit parental permission. This landmark decision is driven by growing concerns about the potential negative impacts of social media on children's mental health, including issues like cyberbullying, addiction, and body image problems. The new law aims to give parents greater control over their children's online activities and protect them from harmful content. It also raises important questions about online privacy, freedom of expression, and the role of government in regulating the internet. The Australian government believes that this measure is necessary to create a safer online environment for young people and promote their healthy development. Now let's turn our attention to a series of pressing global issues. In California, devastating wildfires have already consumed over 12,000 acres, highlighting the increasing threat of climate change and the urgent need for effective fire prevention and management strategies. Meanwhile, in China, we're seeing the deployment of AI-powered patrol robots in urban areas, raising questions about surveillance, privacy, and the future of law enforcement. These robots are equipped with advanced sensors and cameras, allowing them to monitor public spaces and detect potential security threats. And finally, in France, health officials have issued a COVID variant alert, reminding us that the pandemic is not yet over and that vigilance remains crucial. The emergence of new variants underscores the importance of vaccination, testing, and other public health measures to protect communities and prevent further outbreaks. Finally, let's take a look at some developments in the world of finance and technology. Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency, has experienced a significant surge, climbing 7% following a substantial $200 million investment from institutional investors. This influx of capital signals growing confidence in the long-term potential of Ethereum and its underlying blockchain technology. In other news, Nigeria has successfully launched its own internet satellite, marking a major milestone in the country's efforts to expand internet access and bridge the digital divide. This new satellite will provide improved connectivity for businesses, schools, and individuals across Nigeria, fostering economic growth and social development. These diverse updates highlight the rapid pace of change and innovation in our interconnected world. And that concludes our rapid-fire journey through today's most significant global headlines. We've strived to bring you a comprehensive overview, condensing hours of news coverage into a concise and easily digestible 5-minute segment. From breaking political developments and economic shifts to advancements in science and technology, we've touched upon the stories shaping our world. We hope this brief yet informative update has provided you with valuable insights and a clearer understanding of the events unfolding around us. Remember, staying informed is crucial in navigating the complexities of the modern world. Stay informed, stay connected, and continue to seek out diverse perspectives to form your own well-rounded opinions. If you found this news report helpful and informative, please take a moment to show your support. Like this video to let us know you appreciate our efforts in delivering timely and accurate news. Share it with your friends, family, and colleagues to help them stay informed as well. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel to ensure you never miss a daily update. By subscribing, you'll receive notifications whenever we release a new report, keeping you ahead of the curve on the latest global developments. We value your viewership and appreciate your engagement. We'll see you in the next report, ready to tackle another day's worth of news.